All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of North Kawartha Council. It is a very hot day, August 12th, and I'd like to welcome the folks that have taken the time out of their day to join us here in person in the chambers, and a welcome also to those folks who are online joining us in real time. And I just want to remind everyone that we do record our meetings and we upload them to our YouTube channel, so all the proceedings are recorded. Any comments, any opinions that are expressed are recorded as well and will be available for the public to hear. So just keep that in mind. And before we get into our business, council would like to acknowledge that we meet on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, in particular, our neighbors from Kawartha Anishinaabe and Curve Lake First Nations. We recognize and honor the original people of this place we call North Kawartha. As duly elected representatives, we follow this Indigenous practice of acknowledgement to foster respectful deliberations, thoughtful collaboration, and wise decision-making in our service to this community. Okay, and with that, I would ask, before we begin, if any member of council has a pecuniary interest with any of the matters before us. Seeing none, we're gonna move on, and adoption of the agenda. We're making a couple of little additions here. Connie, did you just wanna identify that?
Yep, sure, thank you, Madam. So we just want to add, after introductions, an update from the fire chief on the current fire situation, and I think that's the only one.
Oh, there was making adjustment with the minutes, but we'll deal with that when we approve them, correct? That's
Yes.
Rolina and
Yes.
Yeah, okay, perfect. All right, so can I have a mover for that? Please, moved by Ruth Ann, seconded by Colin. All those in favor? That is approved. And well, this is probably the most timely staff introduction I have ever done. Because we are introducing Colleen Lockhart as our new fire prevention inspector. Colleen brings with her a strong background in fire safety and experience in fire prevention and public education, as well as operations firefighting. Colleen has been on the fire department for 7 years, and during this time, she has taken the lead firefighter position in doing our public education, representing the fire department at schools for Fire Prevention Week, speaking at cottage associations and AGMs, Colleen certifications, just to name a few. NFPA 1001, level 1 and 2, NFPA 1035, NFPA 1031, level 1, hazmat operations, a DZ license, boater's license, and medical first aid training. That's quite the resume. Colleen is also a small business owner and a local from the Big Cedar area. And we are very thrilled to have you join us as our fire prevention inspector. And we know that you'll make a valuable contribution to our emergency services department. Thank you and welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome, Colleen. Do you want to say a few words? I always.
No, thank you, and no, I'm very excited to join forces and be part of the community and yeah, move forward and got lots of ideas. So
Get out there, prevent some fires.
Exactly.
Wonderful, thank you. Well, and if you want, if maybe I'll invite you and Chief Lamb to come up, and because right now we're gonna roll right into an update from you folks about the current status with wildfires and the fire ban, and an opportunity for council to be able to ask questions, and because a lot of people are on edge right now. I'm very nervous. Yeah, and if you want to turn the mics on too, so but yeah, Jess, you know what, I'll turn it over to you if you want to just give us an update, please.
All right, thanks, Madam Mayor. I guess the update is we are in a total fire ban, obviously. That does include fireworks. We are seeing a very unique summer with how dry it is. The fires that we are experiencing in North Kawartha as well are burning, they're burning deep. So it does cost considerable amount of time to put these fires out. So it is very important that our residents follow our total fire ban and our burning regulations, that because we're gonna get stretched thin here as no precipitation looks like it's in the forecast. So if everybody does their job, then it'll make it easier for us and everybody else.
Okay.
We do have fire ban signs at all intersections. They are on most of our busy cottage roads. And our index signs have been all turned to burn ban signs.
Okay.
So
Do you know the status of the two fires that are sort of bookending the county right now?
So Halliburton 018, which is over in Marma Lakes.
Mhm.
Speaking with the M&R Fire yesterday, they do have hoses surrounded that fire.
Okay.
So it's not out, but it's not progressing.
So is it safe to say it's contained? Or is that not?
I don't want to speak for M&R
Okay.
Fire. I'm just using their terminology,
Right.
so.
Okay.
So common sense would say that it's contained,
Okay.
but I don't want to put words in their
No,
mouths.
no. And has there been any requests for our volunteers to support any of the firefighting activities with any of those?
At this time, nothing yet. I have spoke with M&R Fire and told them that they could use our fire station and the helipad for logistics, but they don't require any assistance yet.
Okay.
And I know Marma Lakes Fire is not on that fire either. They've asked for provide assistance and they don't require any
Okay.
M&R Fire, so.
Okay. Okay, so there are gonna be some questions, but Jim, you can start off.
Jesse, what do you mean, they're deep? How is the fire deep?
So through you, Madam Mayor, when we get a forest fire, the fire is the duff flare. So that's your dead grass, your leaves, your branches. The fire is burning deep into the ground,
What
about 11 inches, 12 inches. It depends where we are. And then what happens is that'll travel through the root system and it could pop up 300 yards away from that fire. So you have to dig down 11, 12 inches, whatever it's burning into the duff flare. So this year, which is, I've never seen it, it's burning very deep, very deep. So
It's
even,
incredibly dry.
Mhm,
because of all this dryness, I guess.
yes, yeah,
Just for context, and I think, when we talk about things like climate change or whatever, and I'm up on Eels Lake and I always track the precipitation. We've got the dam that feeds Eels Creek and into the Trent. Last year, between the beginning of May to the end of September, we received over 30 inches of rain. And this year, I don't even know if it's been 2 inches. Like, it's a huge change from one year to the next. And you're right about it being dry. We've had several trees just like drop. No wind, no nothing, and just like dead trees or whatever like that, there's nothing holding them to the ground. Right? It's so dry and dusty and everything. So, yeah, it's a pretty stressful situation. Ruthann, you had a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, if we could put out some kind of thing. I don't know what to say, but people will comment on social media about other people having campfires, things like that, when they should be calling the police, I assume, if it's a weekend, after hours kind of thing, or just so that people understand what they should do in those situations.
yep. So
Yep.
through you, Madam Mayor, we can put out a news bulletin. And just for council's sake, if people call 911 and they say that it is a burn complaint, that'll only initiate a one truck response.
Okay.
So they're not getting the whole fire department there.
Okay.
But if they still call 911 and say that it is a burn complaint, then
So now,
that's how we will be dispatched.
That's important because we don't want to trigger a huge response if
No.
it's just somebody who is having a fire when they shouldn't be,
That's
right?
right.
Having a campfire. Okay, yeah, I think, and then I was also thinking too, I did do that video a couple of years ago about move right for the green light. I think it's timely that I repost that because you guys are definitely busy, not only because you're emergency services dealing with the fires, but also with any of the emergency situations that may happen, highway accidents or whatever. So, Colin.
Yeah, I know it's further away, but are there any updates on Halliburton 019? It's supposed to be gusting winds today, and I know the prevailing winds are usually westward, so I do have concerns about that fire as well.
So through you, Madam Mayor, I was speaking to the Trent Lakes Deputy Fire Chief, who has 2 crews on that scene. And he's advised that fire as well, they've made big progress and they have surrounded it at this time. So again, they're probably the same status as Halliburton 018. They're just, then they will fight from the perimeter in. So.
Thank you.
Okay. And I think everybody needs to do their rain dances. Right, I mean, there is forecast for a chance of rain or thunderstorms. We don't need the lightning, right?
No.
And just so folks know too, I did reach out to Tyler Speck, who's the superintendent of Coworth Highlands Provincial Park. And the same thing, there's a total fire ban. I know you guys are probably in constant communication as well. They're actively enforcing it and all the campers are compliant with it. So there's no sort of status change with that. Colin?
And I know there's a pretty complicated equation that you use when you're determining the fire bans, but does the sort of expected volume of fires contribute to that? Because I'm thinking we just got through a long weekend and I'm very thankful that there weren't any incidents. But the fire ban started right after the long weekend and it would have been dry the 24 hours preceding. So is that a consideration if there's going to likely be more fires in the township?
Sorry, I didn't catch the first part, sorry.
Is it like, do you consider the number of people that may be setting off fireworks or lighting fires when determining when a fire ban could start?
Through you, Madam Mayor, not totally, no. When we implement a fire ban, it's through the M&R Fire with their specialties. We also look at what we're experiencing. So before then, we did have a couple of grass fires, but they weren't burning deep. They weren't burning fast. We did have some cool nights that were creating some dew that was helping a bit. But as we came out of the long weekend, we did have a grass fire and it was burning deep. We did talk to M&R Fire. It did burn a little bit faster than normal and they were experiencing the thing, and through consideration with them, that's when we put a fire ban on. So
No, and it's not like we were an outlier and the only one without a fire ban.
Yeah.
So it's not a criticism. I'm just wondering how you determine that.
Yeah, it was kind of like dominoes. I saw, like, was it we declared, then they declared, then they just kept going, right?
Yeah.
Everybody was sort of in the same region, and everybody was aware, I think, too, of how dry it was.
and
Yep.
through you, Madam
Yep.
Mayor, we also looked at water sources when we do it as well, put a fire ban on. So the water, for us to draft water is starting to get very, very tough. As you've noticed, the wetlands are very dried up now, so it's not, you can't go to your normal pond and pull water from it now. So that plays a big factor as well.
Yeah, and just actually to speak on that, we're talking about drought, and you may have more to add as the chair of Crowe Valley. And I can speak to eels. We have the second biggest drawdown in the watershed, and we are at 6 logs out. They normally pull 8, and the 6 log usually doesn't come out till the beginning of September. So we are well on our way. I am aware that what is driving sort of, the water flow right now, or what's the big priority, is it's based on the water treatment plant down in Peterborough. And they're at minimum flow right now for their operations. So it's, we really need some rain for sure. The other thing I was gonna think too, and I'm sure we probably have a link on our website, but the firesmart.ca, I've shared that in the past when we had our wildland fire presentation a couple of years ago or a year and a half ago. But that is something I think, I'll put it up again, but we should put it out there so folks know how to, fireproof their home or to kind of do an inventory to make sure that, that they're as safe as they possibly can be, right? So any other?
I think Colleen should get right on that.
As I said, you just like, it's like out of the frying pan into the fire, literally.
Yeah.
You're here, your job, prevent them. No, it's wonderful. We really appreciate you guys taking the time to come and talk to us. I know you guys are busy. I didn't want to keep you. But if there's nothing else, can I have a motion to receive the update from our fire chief? Moved by Ruth Ann, seconded by Jim Lachey. All in favor? Great. Thanks, guys.
Yes,
Thank you.
And
Welcome again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And please extend our appreciation to all the volunteers, right? You guys are doing a fantastic job. We appreciate everything you do.
Definitely will. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Well done, Chief.
So I'm going to now declare that we are going into a statutory public hearing, and it's for the purpose of hearing one zone amendment here today. With public hearings, this is an opportunity for members of the public to provide or ask for relief from. Can I just ask if you guys could step outside? Excuse me, could you guys just take your conversation outside? Sorry, just we're going into a public hearing. That's okay. Purpose of the public hearing is to provide opportunity for residents to request relief from planning rules and regulations. It's also an opportunity for members of the public to provide comments on those requests for relief, and we encourage everyone to bring their comments forward so council is in the best position to make the best decision. However, recent changes to the Planning Act have eliminated the right of appeal of the zone of the decisions of the committee. Only specified agencies, persons or the applicant can actually appeal, and there is a 20-day appeal period for those folks, and that starts the day the notice is posted, I believe. So I think I've covered everything, and if I didn't, our fantastic planner Laura Stone will fill it in. Anyway, welcome, Laura. Good morning. Please go ahead.
Good morning, your worship and council. You've got everything covered there from the Planning Act perspective. So this application is ZA-04-25, and it comes before us today as a condition of consent. Council approved the municipal appraisal form in October of 2024. So the recommendation is that council approve this zoning bylaw amendment application to change the zoning of the severed and benefiting lots from the rural zone to shoreline residential exception to fulfill a condition of consent. It is also recommended that council simply recognize the following deficiencies that result in the approval of the amendment. So for lot A, which is roll number ending 00600, there's a lot frontage of 20.7 meters. For lot B, which is the roll number ending in 00700, there is a lot frontage of 40 meters. For lot C, which is roll number ending in 01200, there is a lot frontage of 32.9 meters. Lot D is roll number ending in 01300. There is a lot frontage of 29 meters and a lot area of 0.41 hectares. And finally, lot E, which is the roll number ending in 01400. There is a lot frontage of 20.3 meters and a lot area of 0.24 hectares. This application, as I mentioned, comes from condition of consent for the applications B7324, B7424, 7524, 7624, and 7724. I did provide a breakdown of the lots as a sketch so that all of these confusing numbers can be.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Can I just interrupt? Sorry. Kelly, would you be able to put that sketch up? I just sent her a message. So I thought, hey, there's a lot going on here.
There's a lot going
And that
on.
sketch is really, really good.
It's quite helpful. So essentially what we're doing is we're taking the lot addition parcels, putting them onto existing properties with water frontage, and there's still deficiencies in some of the sizes and the lot frontages, that type of thing. So it sounds complicated. It's relatively straightforward. It meets all of the, or it meets the intent of the provincial planning statement. It meets the intent of the county official plan. They did not need to go through an official plan amendment for this. This application is for zoning so that we can bring the properties into compliance with the comprehensive zoning bylaw. This application is representative of good planning and it should be approved. And I will take any questions council may have.
Okay, wonderful. They may have any questions or you want me to go to the applicant?
Well, I just want to clarify one thing before, so no new lots here at all.
So through you, Madam Mayor, no new lots, simply lot additions.
So it's all lot additions, all the red section is lot additions.
That's correct.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay, at this point, I'm gonna ask if the applicant or the applicant's representative is here and would like to speak on this application. And I see someone's popped up on the screen. Good morning. Please identify yourself.
Good morning.
Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. My name is Aditya Srinivas. I'm a planner at EcoView Consulting and the agent on this application. I think Ms. Stone covered everything. I don't have anything to add, but happy to answer any questions the council or the public may have.
Okay,
Thanks.
wonderful. Thank you for that. Okay, so at this point, I will ask if there's anyone here that would like to speak on this application, either in support of or in opposition to.
We just want information with respect to the part of Spence Road to the right of this development. Is there plans to expand that Spence Road to get into Dock Evans Road?
Oh, okay. Could you just identify yourself for the record?
My name
please?
is Alan Duncan.
Okay. Just so the clerk has that. Okay. Laura, would you be able to speak to that?
Yes, I can. So through you, Madam Mayor, we're not dealing with the road for this application. So anything beyond the limits and the scope of what's being applied for isn't really up for discussion.
Okay.
I will say that the recommendation made in October of 2024 by this council for the municipal appraisal forum was to ensure that the right of way continues unencumbered.
Right.
So there won't be any impact to the use and travelability of Spence Road, but beyond the scope of the application, I can't really speak to whether or not it would be extended.
Did that answer your question? We don't really know, and it's not part of the application at this point, so.
We just don't know why we were invited to this. Because we're clearly not anywhere near Spence Road, so it's like, and then they keep saying, well, because we were 400 meters or 400 feet, I don't know.
It's-
these
there's-
meters.
Yeah, it's kind of an arbitrary circle that kind of anybody's from within that is
Nobody
part of
else
circulation.
Seems to really care because we're the only ones here.
You're here to represent. Well, no, well, welcome. It's basically, it's a way to inform the public and to provide an opportunity for public engagement, right?
And like my husband said, that our concern was that they were connecting Spence Road into Dock Evans somehow.
Yeah.
And then causing more traffic on our road.
No, that is not what is coming before us here today at all. Okay, wonderful.
Good.
Okay, anybody else that has any comments? You received anything in writing? No, okay. All right, well, I'm gonna go to members of council. Questions, comments? What say you? Anyone? Bueller? And there's a motion, maybe you're prepared to make a motion on this. Jim, please go ahead.
I'll move the recommendation as stated.
Okay, all right, is there a seconder for that? Seconded by the other Jim, Jim Whalen, all those in favor of the motion? That is approved. All right, thank you very much, Laura.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your comments. And I believe, do we have the bylaw? Did we do that? Or we don't do that anymore? We made that change. Thank you. Okay. I just got used to it. No, get away. Okay. All right. Well, now I will declare that we are out of statutory public hearing and we will get into the rest of the business on our agenda.
I thought we also changed that all the planning would come at the one time.
Well,
And we got a whole bunch of planning down below. We're gonna have to come back for.
do you want to come back?
For consents, but I thought we had changed that in the, when we changed the.
We
time,
did say we-
changed the other thing.
Yeah.
Do you want to stay and do the consents?
So through you, Madam
Yeah,
Mayor,
okay.
I have a conflict of interest with those
Oh.
consent applications, so it would be Forbes Simon who will be taking the
And
lead on
maybe
that.
that's why.
That's
That's,
so
Forbes is going to attend
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
Okay, but good reminder, yes, we're going to try to streamline it a little bit more, but thank you for that, Laura.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, all right, so where are we then? I don't even know, so I don't have a county report, there was no county meeting in July. So I'm gonna turn it over to Crowe Valley Conservation Authority report. Colin, you got anything for us?
Yeah, so the Crowe Valley Conservation Authority has declared a low water response, level 1. So we are asking people to voluntarily cut their water use by 10%. Level 2, you move into 20% voluntary and more social media pressure. Level 3 is when real restrictions start to come in. So this really is just the introduction of any restrictions with regards to the drought right now. And on Thursday, we're holding a special meeting. We did have a hearing come up. We want to keep the permit process flowing. And we're also going to be discussing changes at the ministry. There's a new deputy minister hired, and we've basically put in place to find potential shared services and efficiencies for conservation authorities. So we're going to discuss how we can respond to that.
Okay,
Excuse me, Colin, this is on Thursday, you haven't?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Look forward to the next report.
I just wanted to wonder, when they say 10%, I'm on a well in North Warwick, this may be stupid. I'm on a well in North Warwick, does that include me? Or not, or is it for primarily water filtration systems?
It's 10% across the board now.
Perfect, yeah. I thought so, I just wanted to confirm that.
Just for your information, Jack Lake Trailer Park ran out of water 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I'm afraid to
They had to
check.
close the park.
there have been wells running dry, I've heard anecdotally, yeah.
That's another code.
And we are sort of caught in an area with no official conservation authority, but the other thing I'll point out is Orca, autonomy region recently also went into level one.
Level one.
So if we're surrounded by people in level one, then theoretically we should be operating as if we're in a level one, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Don't take it for granted, whether you live on beside a lake or not, right? It's, you know what, that water it's incredibly valuable, so. Okay, well, thank you for that. Motion to receive the Fire Collins update, moved by Jim Whalen, seconded by Ruthann. All those in favor? Carried. Adoption of the minutes of the previous meeting of council. I believe there is a correction. Right, correct? Am I correct? Who wants to address it? Is it, I think it's Kelly. I think I'm looking at you because you did the minutes.
No, that was it. It was just that one collection.
Okay, that were just, okay, that was it. So just for changing the name from Mike to Ike. Okay,
Yes.
just wanted to identify that. All right. Cause that's important. Motion to receive, those corrected minutes, please. Moved by Jim O'Shea, seconded by Colin. All those in favor? Those have been, adopted, received, actually. There's a motion to adopt. Okay, so consent agenda, and I apologize. I meant to bring up the letter of thanks when the chief and Colleen were here earlier, but I wanted just to pull, just to make a note of the thank you letter from Mr. Charlie Peebles, as well as pull out number 5 for consideration. So maybe I guess we'll just kind of start we'll start with number 5 anyway. So I don't know if folks you read through. There's the resolution bill C2 to amend proceeds of crime, money laundering and terrorist financing act. And what tweaked my interest was because it was our neighbor, Autonomy South Monaghan, that put forward their resolution and Norfolk County had supported. And to be honest, I was not aware of these changes until I read it. And I kind of went, holy smokes. I think this is something that is worthwhile considering providing support for, because lots of people like to pay with cash. And there's a lot of legitimate cash transactions that do occur. These changes that are being proposed are quite sweeping. So what is move support? Perfect. Seconder for that. Seconded by Ruthann. All those in favor? So we support that Autonomy South Monaghan resolution. And I also just wanted just to make a note, and like I said, I'm sorry I forgot to bring it forward when our fire department representatives were here, but there's a nice letter of thanks from Mr. Peoples to our North Forth, the fire department, for their timely response. It could have been a very serious situation. It was a serious situation with a boat and a dock that was on fire, but by the quick actions of our volunteers, they were able to deal with it appropriately. And like I said, you know, he's expressing his appreciation and thanks, and I think we have to do that as many times as we can, because our volunteers, like I always say, you know, it takes a special kind of person to come to the aid of others, especially when they don't have to, right? These folks are dedicated and committed to, you know, protecting the safety and the well-being of our community, and I'm very grateful for it. So I just wanted to highlight that letter because it's well-deserved. Other than that, is there anything else that anybody wants to pull out from the consent agenda? If not, motion to receive it then, please. Moved by Colin, seconded by Ruthann. All those in favor? I'm looking around every which way. Okay, and now we're into staff reports requiring action, and now we're into our planning. It's that long. Do we have Forbes? Is he okay, well, you know what, then maybe we will just come back to that, and I don't know if someone can maybe just send a little note, and maybe he's expecting that we're gonna take longer to get there on the agenda, but just let him know, and we'll go on to the property standards bylaw, and I see our chief building official, Matt Alden, is here, and good morning, Matt. If you wanted to take us through your report, please.
Morning, Madam Mayor and members of council.
Oh, where are you?
I'm not on the beach. So I'm bringing before you a report for property standards, a new bylaw, just some administrative changes within the bylaw. As you can see, there's one of the revisions is an appointment of council as a whole. That would be an appointment moving forward. So every new council would automatically become the Property Standards Committee as well. The current wording would require an appointment each term of council, so council would have to be appointed each time. So just in order to ensure that that doesn't get lost in the shuffle, this provides for the Property Standards Committee without that other appointment, so that it's a legitimate committee beforehand, and a couple other items. One is the change of fees within the bylaw. So currently the fees are in the bylaw. I'd like to remove the appeal fee out of the bylaw and put it into our fees and charges bylaw. That would just make it easier if fees were going to change, that they're within our fees and charges bylaw, and not having to revisit the property standards bylaw again. And the other one would be for the appointment of the bylaw enforcement officers as the property standards officers. So currently it's the chief building official, and in his absence, a bylaw enforcement officer. And so this just tidies it up and allows any bylaw enforcement officer to also be a property standards officer.
So does that mean like the fire chief, for example, or the public works manager? Are they bylaw enforcement officers?
So yes, I guess in a way, I guess that would probably capture them as well. That wouldn't be the intent of it. So maybe if you, you know, that wasn't thought of when this was brought forward, but that's a good point. So it's more so, for instance, Greg Cherniak, he's a building inspector. So maybe if you'd like, we can bring that back with a minor adjustment. But
I don't know if that's necessary. I just think, because it's sort of like we have that coverage, like, you know, across the, you know, within our staffing, right? It's just that, you know, that we're not just, it's all on one person, right? So, because I think typically probably majority of the time it's going to be you and your staff that will be the ones that will be, you know, enforcing that. But it's, I don't necessarily think it needs to be changed. It's just, I just wanted to clarify that, because I know that we do have that for purposes of parking and all that kind of stuff, right? You know, it's important that you have that ability.
right.
Okay. Any questions, comments on this for Matt?
Makes sense. I can move the recommendation, Madam Chair.
Okay, seconder for that, seconded by Colin. All those in favor? It's been approved. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Try not to work too hard, Mac.
Yeah, get back to that beach. Okay, all right. Do we have Forbes? Not yet? Okay, all right. Well, we'll carry on then. We have finance, and I know that our treasurer's not here, but I think Alana is gonna speak to this and take us through. So this is a brand new thing. This isn't even the disaster relief thing. It's something special.
That's correct.
Yeah, we're here, yeah.
So the first report, the request for municipal ice storm assistance, this is a requirement. So this isn't, as the mayor said, the regular disaster funding that we have following in the emergencies. This was a special fund that was set up for this particular ice storm. And they do require to receive this funding that we get a motion of council. The expression of interest was already submitted. The final report will be completed and submitted by October 31st. And that will be when we have all the final invoices.
Excellent. Okay, and I note the costs that are ineligible. So we have a piece of equipment that remains an asset to the municipality.
If we sell it and buy another one that's slightly smaller, can we claim that then? No longer an asset.
I know, I was hoping, but anyway, okay, so. Any questions or comments on this?
It's too bad that some of these things were taken out, though.
Yeah.
we were gonna put in for that,
Mm-hmm. I know, so, oh, well, anyway, there is a motion here,
where does this, Judy puts this together?
yes, correct.
Okay.
Okay, anybody wanna move the recommendation?
I'll move the recommendation.
Moved by Jim, seconded by Ruth Ann, all those in favor? That recommendation is approved. Okay, all right, and now we're going into the second quarter financial activities. We have the report and we have all the breakdown and all that information. And Alana, you're doing all of this, aren't you? So anyway, you wanna say anything about it?
Yeah, I think it pretty much speaks for itself. The percentage we would normally expect to be is approximately 50%. I believe overall it's around 46%. There are a couple of notations there, building and bylaw, there is a difference in the salary. But some of that may be expensed in the remaining 6 months for the consultant, so that may balance out. There's slight overage in the fire vehicle, instead of 600,000, it was 604,963, so there could be a slight deficit there. Judy made a note that the interest rates have decreased in general government, so we may see a lower interest than what we were looking for.
Okay.
And a lot of the other expenses may come out towards the end of the year, such as the council's promotional supplies, which cover the Christmas bonus and
Right, okay. All right, any questions on that? If not, then a motion to receive the report, please, moved by Colleen, seconded by Jim O'Shea. All those in favor? That's been received, okay, and now we're going on to the next one, which is 2025 council expenses. And as you can see, well, I mean, there's some changes to the report, but I've like way overshot. So anyway, Alana, you can take us through.
Sure. So you have before you the report that was originally provided on the agenda. There are some changes for Deputy Mayor Whalen and Councillor McClellan. The amounts are the same as what are in the report. For the mayor, it's 940.70 the deficit. Councillor McLemore has 251 remaining and 1577 for Councillor O'Shea. So the total of this category is 12,500. So there was talk at the last budget deliberation on whether to leave the amounts that were in the 2024 budget the same in 2025. And it was discussed that they would be left the same, but there may be an opportunity to sort of swap or share that total expense. So the way that our budget does work, I mean, we wouldn't be in a deficit currently because this is all lumped together in one $12,500 group. But I think that council wanted to be able to discuss overages and sharing. So that's why the report's with our council today.
Yeah, if I can speak to it, I will say, because I do my expenses bi-monthly. And this is the first time for me in June that I filled an expense sheet. And it was just, it was one of those things, I've never had one that busy, but I mean, lots of association meetings, lots of events and things that I had attended. The other thing is typically, I went to Roma this year, but I did it through the township rather than through the county. And then I also had attended that summit, the Teeny Tiny Summit in Picton as well. That was at the beginning of May. So those things alone, and typically, in the past, I've always, as I said, done it through the county, but in discussions with Diana, because she was the one gathering this information for me, because I asked her for sort of my history going back. Even just giving like council, members of council $2,000, if you're going to Roma, you've used that up, because registration is $750. The hotel accommodations are $1,300. It's a lot. So I think we need to consider just going forward, I'm not saying for right now, but going forward that we allocate a little bit more money so folks can actually participate in some training opportunities if they want, right? Because it's not just, yes, I've overshot, but I mean, even for Councillor O'Shea and for Councillor McElmoyle, I mean, you guys, like, I mean, you want to do anything for the rest of the other 6 months? Because you're pretty close, right? So, and Colin, unless you invest in a pedometer, or wait, so we keep wear and tear on your shoes.
Madam Chairman, I think we should vote to buy Colin a new pair of shoes.
That's what's coming out of this report, is Colin's getting new shoes. But yeah, I think, I don't know how we want to work this because, and do we have to kind of set a certain amount, or is like you said, Elaine, it's coming out of like one pot, basically, does it? Do I just keep submitting and we just kind of do a tally at the end? Go ahead.
So certainly, you could continue that way. You know, the maximum is overall. It's, I guess, really up to yourself as mayor, and working with council, whether you want to, you know, find out from your colleagues whether they're gonna be using it or revisit it at the third quarter to see how close we are. But even if we did go over, and showed a deficit, it would indicate that next year's budget would have to be increased. And I think if you look back, years ago, yeah, what year Judy went back to, but at one time the mayor's expenses were $6,000. So they kind of decreased over the years, as they weren't being used as much. And we were in tight budget years, then we ran into COVID, so there was a lot less conference attending, so it kind of got reduced and kind of stayed at a certain level. So it may be an opportunity to revisit. So as long as council is fine with the over expenditures.
So just to kind of like maybe do a like a reconciling, you know, we'll check it in again at the third quarter maybe, but I'm cognizant of it. And certainly in this, you know, for July and going into August, I'm, you know, they're not like May and June, I haven't been as busy, but just so folks know, it was 2018 that Judy went back to, and it was 6,000 there, but that was also an election year. So and it was based on sort of like the previous, because we started that actually in that term of council when we had Rob Browning as the interim CAO, to look at a council plans. Because remember, Jim, back in the day, every council meeting we had authorized per diems and expenses, and it's like anybody going anywhere needs to be paid for anything, and we did it almost every meeting, and trying to streamline and be efficient. But just so you know, so then in 2020 it went down to 4,000. I used 400. I'm just looking at mine here. And then we reduced it to 3,000, and that was that for the next few years. And it was like 600, 700, but then in 2023 started to come up again. It was 1,500 and 2,200 last year for me. I was like, I had like just under $300 left over. But again, like I said, I registered for Roma through the county. If I hadn't done that, then, you know, this would have come to a head sooner. So anyway, I don't know what people think, but as I said, like knowing that it's kind of a big pot, we just kind of carry on and we can shift it accordingly as necessary by the end.
It'll be different, with different councils every year and so on and so forth, but, I don't know why we don't just have pot for $10,000, which it is, but to be used by council.
It's 12,000 actually.
And, well, 12,000.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, you know, I only go to county meetings, I declared the mileage, but I don't even bother declaring the mileage for this. And, you can buy me a new pair of shoes too, that'd be great, but, I walk from here to the car.
County covers your mileage. The county does cover mileage from county stuff.
County covers the mileage, and I do put it in there, yeah, so I mean, that's,
Yeah.
But I don't, you know, personally, I don't plan on going to a whole bunch of conventions, but,
Okay.
I would like something in there in case I have to go to something, but, I don't know why it couldn't be just a pot, I don't know why it has to be, you
It's
know,
the way it's divvied up, I know.
set up, so,
Okay,
anyway, that's just my thought.
okay, so go ahead. Yeah.
Just if you have a pot, then if everybody spends that amount, does it come back to council to increase or?
You have to come back to council for the full party. Pardon me.
Is anybody going to any planning on going anywhere this fall? Did anybody register? No, I'm not going to AMO. Is anybody going to AMO? Like, I mean, we would have seen this already, I would think. Right? OEMC, and I don't know if there's there's workshops and things, sometimes like the virtual ones, which are not cheap, right? Ever since COVID, right? I mean, it's expensive for even to join virtually. So, all right, so then maybe we kind of just carry on, right? And you know what, but we'll bring it back. But it's, like I said, we know what the pot amount is, and when we get into our budget, you know, we can maybe bring forward, you know, some suggestions as to maybe increase increasing what's in the pot, like I said, right? If, you know, and also consideration next year, it's an election year, and I don't know what it means in terms of orientation for new councils and training, that kind of thing, I don't, well, we can discuss it, but anyway. So I guess then, there's not really a motion, do we, just wanna receive it then? Tell me to stop spending. Don't go anywhere, don't do anything for the next 6 months.
Also receive the report.
Okay. There's a motion to receive the report. Is there a second for that? Seconded by Jim O'Shea. All those in favor? That's been received. Okey dokey. And 2025 property taxes. Who's this? This is Alana again. You are a one-woman show today.
So this is really just a housekeeping report for information that the treasurer brings after the property taxes have all been set. So it can just be received for information. But if there's any questions, I can try and answer them.
Okay. Anybody? It's just really exciting.
Every year I say this, but I wanna combine Selwyn rural and village, then we can be coming right on top. Feels unfair that they've got it split and can
I know.
do it that way.
I know.
They don't want to combine.
No. So kind of we are the lowest. We can just say that. Okay, all right, so the recommendation is to receive the report. Can I have a motion for that, please? Moved by Ruth Ann, seconded by Jim, all in favor? That is approved. I'm getting good feedback.
Interesting to note, though, we've maintained our position.
Yes, we have
We've been very
Several
consistent,
we have to.
very
And
consistent.
that is important when you start getting people griping at you about their taxes. That's the best comment I can give them.
Yep, you're right. Okay, all right, so now we're moving on to administration reports. We have Creekside Music Festival approval and noise bylaw exemption, and we have our Economic Development Officer, Edward, joining us. Good morning, Edward. Welcome, please go ahead.
Good morning. Mayor, my first report again is regarding Creekside. So this is the third year of the event running under the temporary zoning bylaw, and in addition having the noise bylaw exemption. This report is very similar to the request from last year, just with only one minor change for clarification from last year that we've, as noted in the report, specified the exact times that the exemption is applying for, both for clarity, but also that's within the noise bylaw covering radio as section 3A radio loudspeaker that basically comes in the amplification of noise and sound during those periods. So when as through the notification to the CBO and the OPP that it is, you know, exactly clear that the times that are permitted for those activities with this event. But other than that, the noise bylaw is same as the last couple of years, except just the change of the date the event is occurring on.
Okay. Jim.
This comes before us every year, and every year we just approve it. Is there any way we can put an extension of 2 or 3 years on this thing? You know, provided they've upped all the details rather than coming back all the time.
Through your mayor to council, with in regards to the exception to the noise bylaw, I think as a, with, it's that seeing that that's part of this special event permit, that seeing that the special event permit has to be applied to every year, it would be difficult to, you know, extend it for more than 1 year. And as noted too, that this is the third year of the temporary zoning bylaw. So if the organizers of the event wish to have this event occur in the future, which from preliminary discussions, it does seem like there's interest in carrying forward that working with our planner, Lord, we're kind of reviewing the zoning aspect related to this event that'll come to council at a further date. And it's possible that the noise aspect might be able to be at least reviewed as well as part of that request. But as of right now, this is the third year, so we're just carrying forward with the temporary zoning bylaw and the noise bylaw exemption and the special event permit, so as the same as the last couple of years.
Yeah, because that's the requirement, unless we're gonna change our special events bylaw. The requirement is if it's over 300 attendees, that it needs to come to council. And then the other thing is too, I think, and that was some of the discussion about the temporary use zoning bylaw too, was to provide, you know, the folks time to, you know, to bring themselves sort of into compliance as well. So that's, I'm glad to hear like you and Laura are working with them. That's awesome. That makes a lot of sense. So questions or comments on any of this? If not, yeah.
I think it's good to have an annual check-in on a major event like this anyway. But just the amount of work that needs to be done, the submission from the festival organizers, that attachment, was that pretty well the extent, or did they have to redraw site plans and resubmit site plans and do everything like that again?
Through your mayor, for this year, the CBO requested additional details to the site plan, and the CBO and myself worked with the applicant to provide more detail within the site plan to meet satisfaction for the CBO for the event this year. So basically, did some additional details added to the site plan that weren't in the site plan from last year.
But as long as it's sort of the same, they kind of keep the stage in the same place and the trailers in the same place. I mean, I get your point. Like if it's pretty much painting the same picture every year, right? It makes sense. But again, I'm glad to know that, you know, staff are working closely with the organizers to do this, because it's a popular event for sure, right? Okay, well, there is a recommendation there.
I see Matt.
Oh, sorry, there's Matt. The guy from the beach is back. Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I just wanted to note some of the changes to the site plan were just as a result of some new venues or vendors that came last year that weren't noted on the site plan. So those were the changes, just to identify location of where they were going to be.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for that clarification, Matt. Okay, all right. There's no other questions or comments. I'm looking for someone to move the recommendation, please. Moved by Colleen, seconded by Ruth Ann. All those in favor? That is approved. Okay, and next up is high-speed internet. Are you doing this one?
I am doing
Okay.
Stay right there.
Yeah, you're doing a lot.
He's gonna get us all fiber.
Go ahead.
So this report is basically an update on the accelerated high-speed internet program that ran between 2020 and ends in December 2025. So lot 10 is the majority of the township in North Kawartha that was awarded to Rogers. Lot 35, which is Highlands East, was awarded to Bell. And specifically the part that Bell has been working on is on Eels Lake, starting from Apsley and north. So as this report has indicated, that basically as of today, we've had no update from Rogers in terms of the construction for lot 10. There's been no permits submitted, no works within the township or the adjacent townships. There's been no update from Rogers since January as well related to this program. So I've had discussions with EORN and the Ministry of Infrastructure to hopefully have some type of update from Rogers, but as of right now, there hasn't been any activity on that. With Bell, that there had been, you know, an extensive amount of activity done last year. And then partially concurring with this activity, there's been changes with the CRTC regarding wholesale access to fiber networks. Both Rogers and Bell were unhappy with those changes from Rogers, and they were upheld by the federal government on August 6th. Bell being probably the most vocal with that. And it is unclear, but I think it is safe to say that they've even announced that there was a pullback in terms of their work in 2025, Bell specifically, and it does seem like that has impacted the progress on that project, this year as well. So, just wanted to give an update to council that we are continuing those discussions with Bjorn in the Ministry of Infrastructure. It is a bit disappointing to see that, you know, the 5 years is coming up and what has, maybe what hasn't been completed in those 5 years. But we're hopeful that, the Ontario government will extend that funding, possibly in the fall, and that those, planned expansions by Bell and by Bell and Rogers, can occur. But if not, you know, we're definitely looking and trying to advocate and explore other options and to, bring internet access to the community, because we know both from the municipal operations perspective, by, you know, myself hearing from businesses, that how important, you know, internet access is from an economic development perspective as well. So both from a business retention and expansion component.
Yeah, if I may, I think, you know, and I'm gonna speak for myself, but I think others have experienced it too. I mean, the cell service and the internet service has been crap the last few weeks. And I don't know, you know, we talked about it's all the people that are up and, you know, like load on the system or whatever. But we know, I mean, and I think like with COVID and, you know, having the Zoom meetings, that technology, I think it's a piece of critical infrastructure, right? In order for us to stay connected and be able to communicate. Speaking from Eels Lake, because we're part of that, you know, I couldn't understand it first. I'm like, why did Eels get this? You know, thinking about, you know, where I am located and, you know, relation to the municipal boundaries and the county boundaries, but they're following like the lot thing or whatever, like whatever it is. I do actually have fiber cable that has been like run to my home. And it's just sitting there coiled up nicely, and I have no idea when like there's just, and we can't seem to get any sort of update on that. So I don't know. I know you mentioned the thing, and I remember last year that was some discussion, because there was a bit of a delay when it first started. They were rolling up the highway, then they stopped, and those big cable spools were just sitting there for over the winter. But it had to do with the CRTC. And is it like the co-location on the cell towers, right? Like nobody can monopolize the cell tower. They have to allow for others. It's the same kind of thing, right? When we're talking about the fiber infrastructure, is that what the challenge is like they're putting it in, but they don't want to share it with anybody else, and they're gonna have to?
In basic terms, yeah, the wholesale access that basically the CRTC
Okay.
has mandated that if, say, Bell puts in fiber optic internet, that they have to provide access to other companies at a wholesale rate, so that service can be resold by other companies. That's been the rule, and that has come in. The companies, especially Bell, were unhappy with that decision.
Okay. Colin.
The one thing that jumped out to me was in the financial implications. And it says there's a potential opportunity for the office to be connected through the Lot 35 project instead of the Lot 10 project. The Lot 10 project has been maybe 100 meters that way for the past 2.5 years. I believe that this is actually the case, but it's absolutely crazy that we're even thinking about being connected through that Lot 35 project. When if we ask someone from Rogers, I'd be happy to go over, grab the cable and walk it back here. Like this is one of those times when is public pressure, professional public shaming, like gonna help us in this situation? Can we have the mayor do a video where she walks from her seat right here to where the cable has been for 2 years?
I'm looking at the fiber cable right up there on that.
It's literally wound up across the road, ready for, and it's been up for a year.
Is there something that we can do to help? Because this is just a little silly at this
I
point.
mean, why don't I declare recess and we all go out and grab that cable? I hear you. You're like, this is kind of ridiculous. Alana, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I have always said to staff, the first one who will give it to us is gonna get the contract as long as it's a reasonable price, because
Yeah,
it's like this ridiculous competition. It's like, is it Bell? Is it Rogers? Is it somewhere? We can see it. Like, we had it at the fire hall 5 years ago, brought in for the OPP extended service office, but no one else could join it. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating for staff. Changes all the time, and we really hope that the ministry will provide more funding and keep it moving because, you know, so many platforms now, everything is moving, you know, to be on the computer, which is not great for everyone, I understand, but it really is important to not only the businesses to perform, but to the municipality.
Yeah, an emergency. And the thing too about, you know, the situation where it's right across the road. I mean, that's been existing in lots of areas for a number of years. At our storefront down in Woodview. Same thing. The fiber is literally on the pole at the end of our driveway and we had to go with Starlink. Which is just because, you know, the highway was built for it, but no off ramps, right? Unless you want to incur significant costs yourself to try to link in.
Well, our off link, it's all the way in Anstruther Lake Road. And, at the driveway to our property is the big bell box and the fiber sitting in there.
Yeah.
We get bottom on.
Yeah. Anyway, keep up the advocacy, whatever I can do to help, whatever council can do to help. Certainly, I mean, I'm on it with, you know, our federal and provincial representatives all the time. I mean, but we can't lose this. We've made a lot of progress. They have done a lot, but it's, you know, we're in like the final stretch. So come on, let's work together.
Can I,
Yep.
just grab one more thing. Bell, reduced the bill, its fiber bill by 1.5 million locations and cut 500 million of expenditures for 25. So where we are right now is where we're gonna be at the end of 25, isn't it?
I think it's fair to say with the construct, yeah, that's, unless something really drastically changes, that's, yeah, that. With their plans, cutbacks in 2020. With fiber build-outs, they could probably do some of the splicing and work up into the winter, but since there hasn't been much activity this summer, we don't foresee probably a lot of construction activity and same with Rogers as well. There's been no submission for any permits or road works or anything that would indicate that any work in 2025 at this point.
So I win the competition for,
Another year.
I'm the closest to fiber because it's literally touching my building, but it's not gonna do it. It's like dust. Sounds like.
I'll drop up and hook it up.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's gonna be, and that's not just the hooking up, it's for Bell to actually activate it, to then reach out to everybody and say, hey, we've got this great deal for you, but who knows? Anyway, well, thanks for the report. I appreciate it and, yeah, just carry on. Like I said, we keep up the advocacy and put the pressure on and let, those in the positions of power that be, know how important it is for all of us and get on it. So motion to receive this report, please. Moved by Ruth Ann, seconded by Jim Whalen. All those in favor? Received. I am just looking here at, do you want to have a quick break and then carry on? Okay, we're gonna call for a 10-minute recess, folks, and we'll come back.
No.